Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wines of Romania Talks. My name is Mihai Popescu, and I will be your host for the online interviews. Today, I prepared something special. We're going to talk about Romanian wines as seen from outside the country, outside Romania. And I have a special guest from Netherlands. She's a wine journalist. She talks about traveling also, and she's a wine judge for major competitions around the world. She has traveled the Balkans. She has traveled to Europe, to other wine producing countries. And she also has WSET diploma. And she did her research topic for Wine Academicer about the development and future of the wine tourism of Transylvania. And she recently wrote some articles about Romanian wines, Romanian wine regions, and I think it's very interesting to talk to her. Welcome, Anne Wies Austin.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you for taking your time. And I think the first question I have for you is, why Romania? What attracted you to Romania, or how did you get to Romania? Before we get into talking about the wines, I'm very curious to see who.
Yes, my husband, he already had a holiday house in Transylvania for several years, for 15 years now. And then he was so we went to Romania every year in Transylvania, near to Deva. And he was early retired about 6 years ago. And we were sitting in our house in Rotterdam in the city center. And we were looking at each other like, what we are doing here. It's so nice, quiet in Romania. It's such a beautiful country. And we stayed longer in our house in Romania, longer. And actually, one step by step, we moved really to Romania. So since 5 or 6 years, we are now really Romanian citizens living in Transylvania and traveling from our
I didn't know that. Like, I knew you were traveling to Romania, but I didn't know you're actually a citizen.
Yes.
And
Yes, really.
it's beautiful to know people enjoy the nature of Transylvania, which is, I find it's a beautiful place to visit.
Yes.
And you traveled a lot in the Balkans. You judged the international wine competition. But my question, what was your first impression about Romanian wines at the beginning, when the first time you tried them, probably many years ago? What was your impression about that?
Well, the first time I visited Romania was 2008. And then the most wines I saw were semi-sweet or sweet. And some were of good quality, but most of them was like not my cup of tea, especially in the little villages. You cannot buy good wines. So to have good wines, you have, of course, in Bucharest and Cluj, Timișoara, but in the small villages, it was difficult to find a glass of wine. So there's a lot of development. There's been a lot of development in these years.
So you have seen an improvement since 2008. I guess you saw a big improvement in the quality and the styles. And how do you think wine professionals and consumers see the Romanian wines now, or in Netherlands, for example, because you're connected to the Netherlands market, but internationally, because you travel and you speak with other professionals?
Well, a lot of people say don't know anything about Romanian wines. Also in the Netherlands. So I did some workshops and masterclasses in the Netherlands, and I start with people ask me, oh, you live in Romania. Do they make nice wine in Romania? I say, okay, well, do they make nice wine in Italy? Do they make nice in Spain? Everywhere people make bad wines and good wines, like in Romania. But people don't know the quality of Romanian wines. And in my workshops, I try to have wines from the several regions from Romania, and people really were surprised about the diversity and the quality of the Romanian wines.
And during those workshops, when you talk to consumer or to other professionals, like, do you see any misconceptions about Romania? Or like, it's always people think we do bad sweet wines and like the communist era wines, but already they changed the perception?
A lot of people don't know anything, like you said, like the communist period and like the sweet wines, or it's difficult to sell Romanian wines when people didn't taste them, because you see on the shelf Romanian wine, it's 10 euros, and you see Medoc, 10 euros. People know Medoc, they buy the Medoc. But now you see also a lot of people are interested in other varieties than Chardonnay or Sauvignon or Merlot. People want more, have a broader prospect of what they want to know about wines.
But do you think they're competitive? Let's say you were talking about like 10 euros with 10 euros, but probably the quality, do you think it's better from Romania in that price range, or you still think the major wine regions are better at this moment?
No, for sure not. No, I think in the for instance, the price range of 10 euros, there are amazing Romanian wines, but people don't know the wines. So one of the wineries, Rekas, he's the biggest wine exporter to the Netherlands, and they are doing a good job. Like they have a blend of Vetiasca Niagara and Merlot, for instance, or Vetiasca Alba and Chardonnay. I don't know whether these varieties are correct, but people see a strange name, but they also see, oh, Merlot, yeah, I know that. So they are willing to try it. So I think that's a good idea to enter the market.
It's a good marketing approach, and I think, because the names, it's hard to understand probably the grapes right away, the names. But if you combine it with the grape that they recognize, like a Pinot Noir, Merlot, Cabernet, I think it's a good strategy. But do you think maybe, as we were talking about quality-wise, I think people should learn that maybe in your opinion, I want to know your opinion, in the 10 euros or 20 euros, we make exceptional wines in Romania that can compare to regions from well-known regions from France, from Italy, that charge much more for a bottle of wine in that category of quality.
Yeah, that's to try it. When there's a wine tasting and people are interested in wine and people know about wine, they try this Romanian wine in a higher price range, they are willing to buy it. But when they don't, you just have it on the shelf, it is difficult to sell it. So people have to experience it. That's why it's good to have a lot of Romanian wineries now do tourism accommodations. So people can go to the winery, have the ambience of the winery, they can see the vineyards, they can learn while being there. That's a very good idea.
So we'll get to the tourist part very soon, but I was thinking, I know you used to have a wine store back in the days in the Netherlands. Did you back then, were you willing to have Romanian wines in your store, or it was something that, okay, consumers are not willing to buy, I'm not taking a risk to do it? Or were you not maybe aware that I don't know if it was before 2008 when you had the first contact with Romania, but as a wine exporter or as a wine reseller, what was your opinion on selling Romanian wines to your consumers?
Well, I sold Romanian wines from Rekas because there was no other wine than days. But it was a brand. It's sold now also Calusari, and it was sold for I think $7.95 or so, and I sold it very well because it was Calusari that was nowhere was Rekas very small or Romania very small. So people just enjoyed the wine for a nice price. And I always was interested in different wines, and my customers too. But I had a special wine shop, so a wine shop with all kinds of delicacies, so I could combine the food with the wines. And I think it's difficult when you have just a supermarket, like only on the shelves to sell it.
So it would take more like specialized professionals to be able to sell this type of wines. And for example, today, if you had to redo it, now I think you would have a much greater choice of wines to sell in your shop from Romania, example.
Yes. Yeah, I would sell it because but people have to know it. Also, the people who are selling the wines have to know about the wines. They have to have a feeling with the wine so they can sell it. It's storytelling is so important nowadays because there's so much wine on the market. So the wine must have a story. Well, Romania has a lot of stories, so you can sell your wines with the stories around it.
But
there's
it shows
also a difficulty that What I experienced, I bought a lot of wine at one big winery in Romania, and then they delivered it, and then to my surprise, the Chardonnay was demi-sec, and the Riesling was demi-sec, and the Vetiasca Alba was dry. And I never saw a Chardonnay semi-dry or sweet.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize when I bought the wine that it could be a sweeter style. So that's something I think it must be more obvious what kind of style you sell.
So it has to be better marketed and to be more clean
Yes.
in communication with the consumer. But do you
Yes.
think people, let's say, we'll take the example of Netherlands. Do you think the consumers are ready for wines from Romania? Are they ready to discover this region, or they still have some, because of this miscommunication, I would say, they don't have the trust yet to buy the Romanian wines?
I think they trust it, and as I said, you have to have knowledge about the wine. So there for sure is interest. I saw it in my workshops that they were all wine professionals, and they really like the wines, and they asked me, where can I buy it? Where can I buy it? And they are really interested. So there is a market.
So there's the market for that. And in your opinion, you traveled a lot now in Romania. What grapes have the best potential, you think, for exports, for international markets? Do you think it's the Feteasca Neagră, maybe another grape? Do you think a blend of international with a local grape? And I would like to know your opinion, not what other people. Yeah. What would you think it's more ready for the international market at this moment?
Well, I think Vetiasca Neagră can be a flagship, of course, for Romanian wine, and also the Vetiasca Regala or Alba. So I think that those three varieties are the main varieties because Vetiasca Neagră, for instance, it can be a kind of Merlotish, it can be a kind of Cabernetish, depending on where it is grown and how it is produced. So I think that would be a very good basic variety, because you can have it like fresh young one, you can have it like an oaked version. So I think that's better than or Babiasca could be a good variety, because that's very velvety, very a nice mouth feeling, not too complicated to drink. But I think Vetiasca, then it's one name people can.
Yeah, because it's not easy to always remember the names, the Feteasca, the Babiasca. I see you're doing very well remembering them, but for a consumer, in my experience, they have a hard time remembering the name. But as you were saying, it's Feteasca depends where it's grown. It's very diverse, and nowadays the market is asking for diversity and for newer styles of wine. And I think, as you say, do you think Feteasca Neagră, or do you think in general Romania has the grapes to be able to be present on the international market, knowing what's going on right now with the demand, more whites, more rosé, maybe more or less alcohol in the reds?
Yes, what you say, more or less people want less alcohol, that's for sure. But the main thing is that I think people are still interested in other varieties than Chardonnay, and so I also hear a lot of wineries are planting more Pinot Noir, for instance, in Romania, and that's also a good variety to sell in the Netherlands, because a lot of people like Pinot Noir because it's not too heavy, and you can also with this variety make a lot of styles of wines. So, but I don't know whether people want to have Pinot Noir from Romania. I think first the indigenous varieties on the market, so people know Romania has its special varieties. That's a very
But
special.
Let's say, in your opinion, let's say sometimes it's hard to understand grape if you don't travel, or if you, like us, we have the experience of tasting many wines. But if you would do, for example, in your opinion, a very good Pinot Noir, let's say from Transylvania, we have the conditions there, and it gets internationally recognized, would it be something that would help the wines, the Romanian. Well, if you would see a producer making a great Pinot Noir and then a Romanian grape, it would. Do you think it would give confidence to the consumer, or
yes,
the
yeah. For
sommeliers to
instance,
buy that?
now we're talking about Pinot Noir, but Romania has a lot of Riesling also. And yesterday we had, today is the birthday of Riesling as we talk, 13th of March. And yesterday we had a very nice tasting of Rhine Rieslings from Romania. And you could see very different styles. So we had one from the Francia. I don't know how to pronounce it. Francia. No, from Moldova, from the region Moldova in Romania. And it was very different, and one from Transylvania that was more like German style. And then we have one from Crișan, very different style of Riesling. I think Riesling is also a variety good to promote in outside Romania, because Romania makes wonderful Rieslings.
So that's interesting to know, because producer can do something very well with one type of grape and then use this, let's say, knowledge, or let's say they get medals at wine competition with a wine like this, and it's easier for experts or judges to judge on a grape that they understand, and then to have good marketing for the Romanian grapes that they have in the production.
Yes. And I don't know. We had a Riesling, Rhine Riesling from Dragășan region, and the grapes were from Transylvania because it's cooler there, and it was like a very nice German-like Riesling, in a good acidity, dry, and also the label was very modern. That's also very important for the Dutch market, to have a modern label. Yes, I don't know.
I think it's important, as you say, labels are very important for the design, to look at modern, because now the younger generation, we're trying to make them drink more wine. And if the label is not appealing, they won't go for it. But also to understand, as you mentioned before, the style of wine, the grape, a little story where it comes from. It's very important. And when you taste wines and you go travel the Balkans and Central Eastern Europe, how do you think we compare to, let's say, countries like Hungary, Bulgaria, in the image, or also quality, or how we are perceived next to them? Do you think we're lagging behind, or are they further in front of us on the international markets?
I don't know exactly about the international market, but for the Netherlands, Hungary is more known than Bulgaria, because a lot of Dutch people have a house in Hungary, or they travel to Hungary. There were some good importers for Hungarian wines, and they have a good marketing also. The Hungarian wines in together. And I don't know from Bulgaria. I'm not sure. But I see North Macedonia is doing well in the Netherlands, for instance, and Serbia is doing good, but not enormous like France or whatever. But I think they have more different importers to the Netherlands than Romania is at the moment.
So you think maybe we need a better branding or marketing or education for Romania to be able to be in front of not to always compete with them, but to be more known to the importers, to the consumers?
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, all things you say: more marketing, better branding, everything. Also, the knowledge in Romania, in restaurants. I forgot your question. Sorry.
If you think we need, but let's say, because Romania is now a lot focused on producing and selling locally, but we want to sell internationally. And compared to countries like you said, Hungary is more known, Bulgaria more or less. But let's say Hungary or other Slovenia, Slovakia, there's a lot of countries that Austria is getting out there. It's always in front of us. And do you think compared to them, or just compared to ourselves 10 years ago, do we need a stronger marketing or communication or ambassadors to be able to make Romanian wines more known in countries such as Netherlands, but all across Europe or the world, I guess?
Yes, for sure. Because, for instance, one importer in the Netherlands asked me a certain style of wine, a certain amount of wine, and I gave him 6 names of Romanian companies from different regions. And then they didn't reply to his emails. 2 replied to his emails. And one said, "Oh, I don't speak English." So how can you sell your wine when nobody speaks English in your company, for instance? And it was not a very small company. So yeah, I think in the communication that's also difficult when you don't answer on a question from an importer in the Netherlands. You don't want to sell your wines.
Well, it's not very good to hear that. So I suggest to if producers listen to us and they want to do a bit of international sales, to try to have somebody at least that understands English or understands a bit of the wine market outside Romania, because if not, they will just. I think it's important, as you say, once you go over that trust, it's a relationship of trust with the seller. If you don't look professional, you will never be able to build it back. So yeah. And I think it also comes a lot to tourism. The more you are known as a wine country, it's I think it's correlated a lot to the tourism. And I know you wrote your paper on the development of future wine tourism of Transylvania. How important do you think is wine tourism to get our wine brand known around the world?
No, I think it's very important because look at Italy, who's doing a lot of good work with selling their wines, because people go on holiday in Italy. They see those beautiful wines in Tuscany and those beautiful landscapes in Tuscany, like in Transylvania, the beautiful landscapes. So when people see that, they take the wine at home and they want it more. So they're looking for, oh, where can I buy this wine? And then they cannot find it. So I think wine tourism is very important. Also to see, to show the people that the Romania is not about communist buildings and awful roads and only horses and wagons. But some people really think that's only that in Romania. So they don't know there's a highway and there's whatever. But yeah, it's going very, very quickly, because where I live in Romania to Cluj, a few years ago it was 6 hours driving, and now it's 2.5. So the roads are improving, everything is improving. The restaurants are very nice, the hotels are very nice, and it is still very cheap compared to other countries. So attract people to come to your wineries. And I think in Deolomare they have this. They work together on wine tourism, and that's a good thing. People should do it in every region, to work together to get people to that region. And of course, Deolomare is really easy because it's close to Bucharest. But wineries close to Cluj, you have wineries close to Timișoara. They can work together to do some trip with restaurants and hotels, and that would be very nice.
I think it's very important, as you mentioned, and we all know, like, there's more airports now, more highways available, especially in Transylvania. It's easily accessible. But I want to know your opinion. Are the wineries ready for tourism? Because I know Deolomare is getting more ready, but across Romania and Transylvania or Moldova, because you travel a lot now to see producers, and you travel across Romania. Are the wineries ready for a lot of tourism?
Yes, everywhere where I come, they have accommodation, or they're working on accommodation, or they can arrange accommodation nearby. So yeah. For me, I see a very good development, like in Jelna in Transylvania, near to Cluj. They have a
I had a
beautiful
chance to visit
place
last
now.
year to see Darius
Yeah,
last year. Yes, and
yes, it's
they built
amazing. And also,
a beautiful hotel and the winery and the restaurant. But I
yeah,
think more of the wineries should focus on having this type of conditions, because I think, as you said, the prices, and it's still interesting to travel to Romania, and it's still a country that is a bit has the wild side. And I think
yes.
in the wine world, what do you think? It still has that wild. Let's discover. There's still grapes to discover as in regions. How would you improve that, or how would you suggest to producers to develop that tourism better?
Well, I think the most important thing is to work together for one region. Because the Jelna, I don't know whether I pronounce it correct, winery.
Then yeah, yeah.
There are several wineries. You can go by car to the wineries. They could make a wine route. I don't know whether they have it now, because when I was there they didn't have it. But when they have a wine route, you can visit 3 or 4 wineries in one day or in 2 days. That would be great. Then you have a reason to go to this winery. They can sleep at one winery and travel to the other and have dinner in another. And that's also in Dragășan at now I forgot the name. That's stupid. Avinci's. They
Avinci, yeah.
also have beautiful accommodation. You can go there and sleep there, and then visit the winery and go to the other wineries in the neighborhood. Yeah, things like that. Also, in the smaller regions, it is possible to have this kind of tours.
Do you think it's diverse enough? Do you think there's enough regions to visit, or to make the consumer, well, the wine lovers or the tourists interested in Romania? Do you think it has enough to offer compared to other countries?
Yes,
For
because it's
example,
very
regions, for example, grapes.
Yes, because it's very diverse. Because when you go to Deulumare, there's a lot of red wines, a lot of French varieties, for instance, also, of course, Romanian. But when you go to Moldova, the wine region, you have all those aromatic varieties. I don't know. You can perhaps
Busioaca,
pronounce,
tămâioasă,
yeah, the Husi.
busioaca de bohătin, tămâioasă
Yeah,
românească. Those are more aromatic.
so that's totally different than other regions. And I was in Cristiano Maramureș to the sparkling wines, Sylvania and Carastelec. So there are so many different areas, more than, in my opinion, more than in France, like sparkling wines
any favorite region so far? Because I know you visited a lot of them. Any favorite? Any something that stood out and that's worth visiting?
Well, I love sparkling wines, so I really like to visit to amazing the cellars of Sylvania, and I also really like the way Carastelec is working on a modern way, like champagne, working together with champagne. But also, yeah, Dragășan. I really like this variety, the Negro de Dragășan. But I also really like the Villa Metamorphosis, the Vino in Deulumare. So I don't know. Every region has its own speciality and amazing wines.
Just gonna ask the viewers, if they have visited Romania and they had a special region, to leave us a comment. Maybe we're gonna see it when and see what their favorite region or wine was. And if they want to learn more about the Romanian wine regions, to follow the Wines of Romania on YouTube or Instagram. And we're gonna look at the comments and try to answer you, because I'm curious to know also what the viewers what their experience in Romania was, and what wine regions are their favorites. I have some, but as you said, it's diverse. Everyone is different. The food is a bit different in each region. Have you been with people, like with friends from Netherlands? Did you bring them to Romania? How did they like it? Or from other countries, let's say?
Yes. Friends of mine who were here in the communist era, They were very surprised about the development of the wines and of the towns. And people really like Sibiu, Timișoara, the restaurants. I'm very fond of Cluj myself. I really like the dynamic thing. I'm now, as you see, in a hotel room in Timișoara. And I really like the vibe here. Like we were at the restaurant at the riverside. All kinds of people, young people from the university were walking there. And it's a very nice atmosphere here. I really liked it. And can I tell you about Robin Hood? Very short.
About what?
Because the Robin Hood.
Yes. Yes. It's an interesting event that you participated in.
Yes, that's the reason why I'm in Timișoara now, because every year they do a fair, Robin Hood. It's totally volunteered to raise funds for the Seva de Spoes organization to increase the quality of the life of people with disabilities. And everyone is doing it for free. And all kinds of wineries are coming there, not only from Romania, but also other. And then masterclass is very interesting with champagne, with masters of wine like Elizabeth Cabé and Caroline Gilby who are participating. Everyone does it for free. That's every year. So check, please, rovinhood.ro. And today and yesterday they have a special Riesling event. So it was also in Romania. You have a lot of Riesling. And they don't say whether it is Italian Riesling or Olas Riesling or Welsh Riesling or the real German Riesling. So yesterday we had a tasting of the German Riesling. And I think people in wineries in Romania should also make obvious on the label whether it's an Italian Riesling or a German Riesling, so people know what kind of Riesling they can expect.
But and before we finish, it's interesting because what you're telling me, it's fun to see that there is more and more international specialists and professionals visiting Romania, and I think they could be good ambassadors for the Romanian grapes, the Romanian wines around the world. And we have a beautiful ambiance, atmosphere when you travel to Romania, and I think that's going to make them come back, and that's what's going to make you or myself suggest Romania to other tourists, or to suggest to try Romanian wines. And I think it's tourism is one of the keys of getting the brand out there, the country. And before we finish, I just have one more, not a question, but one suggestion, one piece of advice you can give winemakers in Romania at the current market, or if they want to be more known internationally, but also locally, what one piece of advice that would you have right now for them?
For the winemakers or the wineries, or
wineries, winemakers,
for the winemakers to make the wine very, very clean, very precise, very clean. And I see a lot of times wines, not too much, but more than in other countries, wine is not very clean. I don't know how to explain. There is something mistake, and I can taste it, but I think a normal customer wouldn't notice it, perhaps. So that's for winemakers to have a very sharp.
And should they follow the international trends, in your opinion, like less alcohol, more whites, or should they focus on making very good wines with the Romanian grapes and get them out there to have international recognition?
I think it's good to focus on to stand for yourself, to stand for Romania, to stand for Vetiasca. But when the market asks for Merlot from Romania, well, then you must make Merlot from Romania. But I think the focus, in my opinion, the focus should be on indigenous varieties.
And on the tourist side, they should focus more on creating, what do you say, associations, or to work together to create a more interesting tourism plan.
Yes.
Activities.
Yeah, it is. You should have one organization. You are doing a very good job with Wines of Romania to make the wines known. Yeah, Marinella does a good job, of course, in outside Romania for the wines, and but it takes time. It's not like
it's
now it's
nothing
Romania.
something you can build in one day. Well,
No.
I want to thank you for your time. I want to wish you a lot of success in traveling and keep writing beautiful articles about Romania. We're happy to see that, and looking forward to see you soon. Hopefully in May.
We meet in Vinarium.
Thank you. Have a good day and good luck.
Thanks for asking me.
Thank you everyone for watching us. So if you want to learn more about Romanian wines, grapes, and to have an idea of where the wines are, the direction of the wines are going, or see locally, like last time we talked about the restaurants, and sometimes we're going to talk about more interviews internationally, please follow us on Wines of Romania on YouTube, Facebook, and we have also Instagram account. Thank you and have a nice day.